Madam Speaker, I'm going to say something now that I get angry every time somebody in this chamber says. I didn't plan on speaking. I really didn't, though. I'm very proud of the work that my colleagues have done today in this debate. But I'm standing here today because, like my colleague, Representative Oler, Representative Wilson, these are new members to this chamber. They ran for office, like I assume all of us do, because they want to do something good for their district, for the state of Connecticut. They haven't been tainted like the rest of us yet. Now, we understand, we hear this saying that laws and legislation are like sausage, you don't want to see how they're made. And we all understand that there's negotiations and conversations and arguments and discussions and there's compromise and we all walk away saying we like this, we don't like that. That's part of it. We understand that. But I guess the sad part for me is I have now been here 18 years and I've been fortunate and unfortunate to see a lot of things happen, some good, some bad. And to the good representative from Fairfield's comments, I spent the first part of my career sitting in this chamber, hearing a debate year after year after year about the problem in Connecticut politics is that we don't have transparency. We don't have enough transparency. We don't have enough sunshine shed on our campaigns. There's too much special interest money in campaigns. People are not able to run for office as they otherwise would because they are at a disadvantage running against a longtime incumbent. They're at a disadvantage because those incumbents have relationships with lobbyists and with other people throughout the state, and they can't keep up. A regular Joe from your district can't keep up with one of us that's been here for a while. And we heard that refrain year after year after year. And the response and the solution to that problem was what we now know as CEP, the Citizens Election Program. And what that program did was it took out all of that money, special interest, lobbyists, PAC money, et cetera, and it said if you can raise X amount of dollars from your district in small quantities, then you can run. And the idea was that anybody could do it. Nobody was at an advantage or a disadvantage. That sounds nice. I mean, it sounds nice. Part of our problem was it's taxpayer funded, and we didn't agree with that philosophically. But we had the debate in here like we do, and that's what the democratic process is about. Eventually, after many years of hearing, for those of us who didn't support it, that we don't believe strongly enough in the democratic process, that we don't believe in transparency, that we don't believe that there are too many special interests involved, the bill became a law. And that has been the law of the land for many years now. Funny thing happened, though, after that. After the advocates in this building, in this chamber, in the Senate chamber, and out there, after those advocates went on and on and on for many years until the bill passed, that this was the problem. It was the special interests. It was PACs. It was ad books. It was state parties. It was RTCs. It was DTCs. It was all this stuff was a problem. And if we could just get rid of all that, then we'd be good. Then it would be pure. Then anybody who wanted to run could run. And that's what the democratic process is about. Funny thing, though. Funny thing, after 20 years of Republican governor in this state, there was an open seat. And that year, the Republicans had somebody running who we referred to as a self-funder, raised his own money, put a lot of his own money in, Whether you like that person or not, that's what he chose to do, and it was his prerogative. However, then we saw the other candidate said, you know what? Maybe it wasn't the greatest idea that we change these laws, because now I can't compete. So what did we do? We came back in here. I think it was summertime, special session, and we said we have to now increase that money. The same money that we swore for years we had to decrease because it wasn't fair and it wasn't right and democracy could not flourish. Because the same people that wanted those laws changed now thought maybe they're not working for them so much. That was the first thing. I won't repeat and go into detail what the good representative from Fairfield said, but the same thing happened with ad books. The same thing happened with state party contributions. The same thing happened with RTCs. And now we stand here today with a lovely bill called an Act Concerning Campaign Finance Reform. We love these titles because if you put reform, doesn't matter what's before or after it. Who doesn't support reform? Reform's a good thing. But what I don't get is, now, listen, I get we're in the minority, albeit just barely. And I get that we put these amendments up on a board, and a lot of times they're party line votes. I understand it. But what I don't understand is when we stand up here for years and years swearing there's a problem with our process, we change that process after many years of debate, and then we come back with a list of things that could actually fix, in fact, that process. And we don't think those are good ideas? Now, I know the majority leader stood up before and said about one of our amendments that they're in the works with that and they're working on that as part of the budget. Well, then if you're working on it, why didn't you vote for it here? Because it's ours? All right. It's almost like there's a Chinese menu of things we can do, and you close your eyes and you pin the tail on the donkey and you say, this is the one we're going to do today because it's our thing. It may or may not be your thing because it may or may not help you more than it helps us. Let me tell you something. You've heard me say time after time, we do good things in this building, we do bad things. Some things work in our favor, some things don't work in our favor. But to stand here today, look at a bill on that board that says campaign finance reform and hear 4 or 5 ideas that will get us to actual reform, the things that were part of this in the first place and then were changed because they didn't work in your favor, that's not democracy, that's not sunshine, that is not allowing people the opportunity to run for office. That is not what we are elected to do. That is not what our constituents want us to do. And it is very self-serving, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very